today we're going to be talking about Moonlight Ray, new ML5 star coming to Epic 7. Now, his animations look pretty cool and his kit looks pretty unique. He is a dark Soul Weaver, so he's still retaining the Soul Weaver class. You're also going to see that, unlike most Moonlight 5 stars, he actually doesn't have a passive in his S2. You're going to see that it is going to be an active ability. Now, the artwork for this unit looks amazing. Just for his artwork, I would definitely pull for this unit. But if you look at his kit, you guys might think otherwise or think twice about pulling for him, because honestly I think his kit needs kind of a buff, to be honest. So jumping in, let's look at his stats real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So he is a Soul Weaver. Like the video says, he has very high HP and defense for a Soul Weaver. Usually Soul Weavers don't have this much HP, but he's also very slow. You're also going to see for his imprints, right? For his own imprint concentration, he is going to get effectiveness, kind of signaling that he is going to be using a lot of debuffs of sort. And you're going to see that he works very similar to the RGB 5-star unit Sharoon, if you guys remember that unit from like last year. Looking at his skills real quick, S2 anatomical mutation, you're going to see right away that he is going to use a focus system. He gets 3 focus from this, and this is going to be an AoE combat readiness push, 20%, so pretty decent. And you'll also grant himself increased effectiveness. Now, he also is going to grant Pestilence, a unique buff to the game, to all allies except for himself. And you're going to see what Pestilence does is kind of like what the name implies. After you attack on the target's turn, you'll inflict venom and kind of spread the Pestilence, I guess. And this cannot work for counterattacks, dual attacks, or extra attacks. And this Pestilence buff cannot be dispelled. Now, if you guys don't remember what Venom does, Venom is going to be a 10% max HP at the start of the target's turn, and also you'll be inflicted injuries. So now it is a better poison, and it also gives injuries, but this will only work in PvP. Venom does not work in PvE, making it so that Death Dealer Ray will pretty much only be used in PvP and have 0 usage in PvE. So if you guys want to see how this works, we can actually see this here. Basically, the way this works is the Pestilence buff can't be dispelled from your team, which is very nice, but keep in mind the venom you apply will be able to get dispelled. So that is the biggest problem here. You're going to see when we actually look at when DJ Bassar takes that turn, he will apply another stack of venom onto the Bellion. So pretty interesting. Also, the injury will only apply once you take damage from the poison. So if you cleanse it off, you're actually going to not take too much effect from the venom skill. Next, we have his S3. This will cost 5 focus. Now, this is going to have a 100% chance to put all enemies to sleep for 1 turn, and also inflict venom for 2 turns, and also deal additional damage according to the target's injuries, and will grant you an extra turn. So honestly, this skill is very powerful, especially because if you look at his kit, he's going to actually apply those venoms and actually do a lot of injuries. And by detonating the injuries, you can actually inflict a lot of damage this way. You can see like 12k, 6k and stuff like that, and the sleeps are very nice as well. Next, for his S1, guys, single target attack, it has a 75% chance to put them to sleep for 1 turn, and will also detonate venom effects inflicted on the target at the end of the turn. And this will not trigger any dual attacks, so that you actually will not wake the units that you put to sleep if you trigger a dual attack. And you can soul burn this for 100% sleep, so nothing too crazy, but the detonate looks pretty cool because it's going to give him, as a Soul Weaver, a lot of capabilities for damage that you see. When he detonated the venom on the Bellion here, it did about 5k-ish damage. Pretty sure it was like 1 stack or 3 stacks of venom, and it did 5k damage. So the damage is actually pretty low, even though it did get soaked by Arrowell a little bit, but just keep in mind, the damage isn't too crazy. He's a Soul Weaver, so it would not make sense for it to be crazy here. Now, his animations look really sick. I really like his design. Biggest problem I see with this kit, though, guys, is that his S3 is going to cost 5 focus, and if you look at his S1, gives you only 1 focus, and his S2 will give you 3 focus. So you need to take 3 turns, and then you can activate your S3, which is kind of trash, honestly, because all you're really doing is sleeping units with your S1 here, and I guess detonating the venoms that you apply. But the only way you apply those venoms is from his S2, and keep in mind, venoms are dispellable, and we have so many cleansers in the meta, right? I know Diane has fallen out of favor, but you can still use her. You can use Destina, who's like already super meta, as a very good answer to Death Dealer Ray. You can also use, like Meteor Cowrick, who's also very good. And even there's units that can self-cleanse themselves right now, right? We have like Edward Elric and stuff like that are very annoying to deal with. So is it going to be good? It's really hard to tell. But I personally predict that he will be pretty bad because of the fact that he just takes way too long to ramp up, and in that time you're already going to be at a disadvantage because, you know, the first few turns in Epic 7 matter way too much, especially in World Arena. Also, big problem is his base speed is way too low. You're gonna see it's only at 100, so you know the amount of time it's gonna take to actually get to that 5 focus breakpoint is gonna take so long. You need to get your S2 off, right? If your S2 granted you an extra turn instead of your S3, so you can build your focus faster, maybe he'd be a lot better. But for now, I feel like it's gonna take him way too long to ramp up. And the biggest problem is like the Venom is just cleansable, right? Any units that are very reliant on debuffs usually end up being pretty bad because of the fact that you just bring a cleanser into them and you're pretty much good to go. There's so many artifacts and units in the game that can cleanse, and also there's just units in general that can counter the Venom, right? He also is going to be very good with injury units, so you're going to want to pair him with certain units as well, right? I think in the video they don't really pair him with that many good units with him. I think Sharon is a very obvious good one because she can also apply Venom for him, but I think AoE injury users like Bellion will be very good because of the fact that, you know, his injuries, you know, they will stack up over time, but Bellion is just way better because of the fact that from this Pestilence buff, guys, like Bellion will be applying so many injuries on the enemy, right, with Venom, so I think she will be a very good user with Death Dealer Ray, but keep in mind she's also an ML 5 star, so you might not have access to her. Overall, this unit seems not that great. I think he will definitely be on the list for buffs, kind of similar to how Astromancer, what's her name? Astromancer Elena got buffed, right? Because of the fact that, you know, she was pretty terrible on release, to be honest. But yeah, you're going to see that Death Dealer Ray will be available from the Mystic banner starting on January 5th. So if you guys really want him, make sure you guys save your Mystic bookmarks. He seems like a fun unit, but I don't think he'll be that great. That being said, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.